Again, if you like Wicked, Jordan and I saw to it that we could incorporate as many subtle and not so subtle Wicked references in the movie, and sort of just like be the kind of theater kids that spout out nerdy theater facts because that's what us nerdy theater kids do.
Hi, I'm Kristen Maldonado from Pop Culture Planet. I loved this movie so much. I'm from New York. I'm a Broadway girly, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting like Ellen Stardust Diner, Gail's Broadway Rose,
Yes,
Cyrano, like all of it, you know?
That's
this
awesome.
movie we made it for you,
Yes,
Kristen.
yes, yes. I wanted to start out because, I see Wicked alum and I'm like, I'm immediately in. And so I'm curious, like, did you guys know each other well before filming A Carol for Two?
The Wicked family is very small, so we kind of run in the same circles and know all the same people. And GC's best friend happens to be my current Elphaba on Broadway, Mary Kate Morrissey, and they did the show together on the tour for over a year. And so we had that mutual contact in common, but we had never gotten to perform together. And but I've seen all the bootlegs of her on YouTube, and I knew how unbelievably talented she was. And so yeah, no, we had never gotten to do anything together before this.
Yeah, Wicked's definitely a tight knit fam. So we'd met, but not actually gotten to sing notes together or say lines together. So, but again, I was already a fan, so it was really fun to get on set and make some Broadway magic for the people who love Christmas movies.
You were
Yeah.
a fan of me?
Yes, Oz Capella. Come on, I got to stand by at
Uh,
Wicked those few days and hear you
you
and MK sing
stop.
as long as your mind together. Those blends. Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
Ooh.
Those dulcet tones.
I love it. I was gonna say I saw you guys collaborated on an Acapella recently as well for 21 years of Wicked. So
That actually kind of started when we were on the set of this movie.
You'd
I
already
had
done Oz
mentioned,
Capella.
well, this arrangement for Popular. I had an idea of trying to do like a vintage 40s sound of Popular, and then the moment I heard GC sing in this movie, I was like, oh, she's so jazzy and sultry. Her like voice lends itself perfectly to this, and so I started to arrange it with her in mind, and then we were able to throw it together.
And that band is already very well established, so I was just honored to be invited to sing along.
Jenna, you're a Hallmark veteran now at this point. You've got a bunch of Hallmark Christmas movies under your belt. But Jordan, I know this is your first feature film. So how did you guys kind of prepare together for this movie?
I personally am a very regimented, militant actor when it comes to preparation for things. I love to drill scenes into the ground, so that I'm not even thinking about the lines when I get out onto stage or onto set. It's just so in me that I can have fun and be free to make choices and do whatever I want. And luckily, GC was like right on board for that. So we were running scenes and getting them up on their feet and walking around our apartments in Winnipeg, going through things, especially the ones that had music in them. At one point, we sing a song together while I'm playing piano and all of that, and we rehearsed that one a ton, and the final product came out really beautiful.
It was fun having a scene partner, a co-star who was so invested in the process because Hallmark did 48 Christmas movies this year. So the filming process is always sort of fast and furious. We shoot the whole thing in about 15 days total. So it's important to have someone who is invested in the words and the scene work. And I think some of what Jordan's talking about, that regimented process is sort of our theater training. When you're doing scenes 8 times a week, it does feel so good to just have that material in your bones, and so it was cool to get to have sort of that foundation for our scene work and for our music, even though it was a really quick process, and I think it made us both feel a lot more prepared and made it a lot more fun.
Wow, 15 days. I know they turn these around fast, but that seems really
Yeah.
fast.
So
Wow.
quick.
Yeah. I'd love to hear about some of your favorite scenes to bring to life. I mean, there were so many funny moments, so many great musical moments.
Okay, one of my favorite moments in the movie is when Jordan plays the piano. I don't know, do we want to give away what song it is? It's the Christmas song. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. And I think there's so many amazing musical moments in this film. But most of the other ones were with a big live band, which is cool because that's sort of what we're used to doing on stage, is performing, with an orchestra. But I think that moment feels sort of stripped down and intimate and sweet, and it was really cool too because Jordan was really playing the piano.
I love that.
And he wrote a cool arrangement for us too and figured out some really fun harmonies, and yeah, so that was one of the ones we practiced a lot, so it was cool to see how that one turned out.
Any scene where GC and I got to sit at the piano, whether it was at Fiore's or another location, it just felt really intimate and really special. There was another scene where I introduce a song that I've been working on because my character is a composer. And I had the freedom to just play whatever I wanted and make choices about what it might sound like for when I first introduced the song to GC's character Violet. And it's this very vulnerable moment of a composer playing a song out loud for someone for the very first time ever. And I was actually nervous, genuinely, as Jordan, to do it, which I think reflected Alex's nerves about playing this song for Violet. And it just, I think the scene came out so touching and so beautiful.
Oh, I love that. When you mentioned like getting a chance to kind of play around with the music, and I feel like it's so interesting that like your character is a composer, but you also, are clearly, putting together really awesome arrangements and things like that. Did you kind of connect with your character in that sense?
Oh, absolutely. I've always had harmonies running through my mind, especially with like the Wicked music, because GC and I have been a part of this show for years and years and years. But I'm a harmony centric kind of person, so to be able to add my own spin on things and have GC be like right along on the bandwagon with me every step of the way was just like, what a cool freeing experience that we don't get to have in a show like Wicked or anything else like that. And the freedom to make choices
A
is,
skill set that you don't always get to use on camera, but to use
for sure,
your many gifts and put it into this character was really cool.
That's awesome. And now, obviously your characters are coming to New York, wanting to make it, wanting to get on Broadway, wanting to, achieve those goals. And I was wondering, like, for you guys personally, what was it like for you trying to kind of get that first big, role on stage? And were you able to connect with any of the things your characters dealt with?
I saw the original cast of Wicked as a kid, and this was a lifelong dream role for me. It was one of the first shows I think it was the first show I auditioned for when I moved to New York. I think it was for like the understudy on tour or something. So I auditioned for it, made it to callbacks, didn't get it. A year later, auditioned for it, didn't get. I think I just sent in a self tape, and then a year later was when I ended up booking the standby on Broadway, and then had to re-audition to play the role on tour. What? Yes.
you went in 3 times?
More than that.
Oh, okay.
Between like callbacks and stuff, but yeah, over the course of years.
No, but I mean like three chunks of times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but then
Okay.
again when I went on tour, so that was like 4. I don't know. They didn't make me.
But I mean, from the first time you got in, it was like you went in for one chunk of time, and then you went in again for one chunk of time, and then.
Yes.
Okay, got it. That's me as well. I didn't know that. That's really, really cool. And Wicked was my second show that I ever auditioned in New York. Yeah, I had a very similar experience. I went to an EPA. I had no representation. I just like walked into a random open call.
They were like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, and
Great.
fortunately, they liked me enough to have me come in and read for the role of the understudy on the tour, like Wicked does, and didn't get it the first time, but I had made it all the way through to the end with a couple of other guys. Actually, Sam Gravitt was one of them. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I came back a year later, that spot opened up again, still didn't get it. And then finally 6 months later, that spot opened up for a third time. And then I ended up getting it that third time.
Everyone has a different story, but for the most part, I feel like auditioning for Wicked is like dating, like getting to know you. And so they kind of, yeah, they get a feel for you during this audition process. I mean, there are the occasional amazing humans who just like walk in and book it first time out of the gate.
Connecting it back to our characters, it's especially Alex in particular. I feel like Violet's character might have a little bit more just out of the gate success than Alex has had. Alex has been grinding at it for quite some time now, and then Violet just waltzes in and just takes over the party. And that's where some of the conflict comes from between the two of us, which is kind of fun.
You guys have mentioned Wicked already. How excited are you to see the movie coming out?
Yeah, we recently got to go to a screening of the film, and it was really special because the original Broadway cast was invited, and the current cast, and then everyone who's played a witch on Broadway, which is really sweet. And it's sort of this select few people, and it was so cool to have the creative team and Cynthia and Ariana get up and talk about how this was their love letter to Broadway, and how it was really important to them that they were sort of continuing this legacy that we'd helped create. I just felt like they went above and beyond trying to make us feel a part of it and honored, and the movie definitely exceeded my wildest expectations. And this is a movie that almost since it came out, the show 21 years ago, they've talked about making, and I feel like they waited for the right leads and for the right director, and I feel like they really did it right.
Absolutely. It was beautiful. And I feel like being in the show as long as we have, we'd go in with the most critical ear and the most critical eye. But from the moment the downbeat of the overture started, I was just like a mess and so emotional. And it could be because the entire room was so biased. We were all wanting it to succeed, and we were all so excited for every little moment that we know so well in the show. But I loved every second of it, and I wouldn't lie. I would tell the truth, and it's truly unbelievable.
How many times did you cry, Jordan?
3 that I can think of, for sure.
Cried 3 times.
Like once right off the bat, once in the middle, and then once kind of towards the end, for sure.
I cried the most during the Ozdas Ballroom. That was like
Me too. Yes.
And
they captured it so well.
They captured it so well. And I was sitting next to Mary Kate, who was my alpha on tour, and his current alpha, and so we just like held each other because that's such a special moment on stage where you get to connect with your person, and it's this huge turning point in the plot. So it was really sweet to see that sort of amplified, but in a really cinematic way.
And that's so awesome that they brought you guys in to all see it and like really feel, I mean, you're already, the Wicked family, but like feel even more a part of like everything that they're doing. That's so cool.
Again, if you like Wicked, Jordan and I saw to it that we could incorporate as many subtle and not so subtle Wicked references in the movie, and sort of just like be the kind of theater kids that spout out nerdy theater facts, because that's what us nerdy theater kids do.
Oh, 100%. I know I definitely caught at least one, but I'm sure there was a bunch more.
Wait, which one was it?
I'm trying to. I think like Jordan had a specific line where he like said Wicked.
I literally just said Wicked at one point.
Yeah,
okay,
he just like
we'll have to go
it.
back. That was a not subtle one. You gotta go.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it originally like Phantom of the Opera, Jordan?
Yeah.
And we changed it to.
I was like, I have to say Wicked, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and rewatch. But is there any that you want to tease?
One of the reasons I come to New York is because my aunt was a Broadway performer, and I'm talking about how she was in the original cast.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Broadway show Skybird. Originally it just said she was in a show, and I was like, no, nerdy theater kids would be like, well, it was this year, and it was the original cast, and it was this show. And I was like, Sky, like a sea drop by a skybird.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God. See, I wouldn't have even thought of that. Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
For sure.
Yeah, there's more of those too.
I mean, we didn't want to get fired from set, we had to be very, very sneaky about it.
I wanted to ask, because this year does mark 15 years of Countdown to Christmas. And I was wondering if you had a favorite moment whether it was in this movie or even for you, Jenna, if it was in another one that you've done with Hallmark.
I will say, with the ones I've gotten to do, there's been some really special parallels with me, but this story definitely hits the closest to home because I grew up in Nashville, so I was just a small town girl coming to New York with a big Broadway dream. But on set, man, I don't know, Jordan, it was really cool because again, they are fast and furious, but we got to spend a whole week in Fiore's. And so I feel like we got to really settle there. And I think getting to record the music live was really cool and an interesting challenge for us, just dealing with some technical things like click tracks. But I think that was really special because of our background, getting to make it all happen in the room.
Stepping on set for the very first time. Now, GC, my first scene that I filmed was actually not with GC. It was with the guy that plays my, with Gino, the guy that plays my cousin Brad. And he was so funny on stage and we were so comfortable with each other. I felt after the process finished, I felt like he was like my brother. And some of my favorite scenes were between him and I in Alex's apartment in New York, where we just laughed through all of these scenes because you'll see he's psychotic in the best way. And he's so funny. But that, like, stepping on set for the very first time, I'd never filmed anything in my entire life. So I'm thinking, am I gonna screw this up? But it was just a blast, and Gino made me feel so comfortable. And that, I think maybe that just that first time realizing that, wow, I get to actually make a film right now, and it's starting now.
That's awesome. You guys were really funny together as cousins.
Oh man.
He was so ridiculous. It was really funny.
I mean, and they cut a lot of stuff
out really well too. You had this energy in you.
The high and the low, yeah, for sure. And they cut a lot of stuff. There's one scene in particular that they cut where I was like warming up to go for an audition, and then Brad was like mocking me back all of my warm-ups. So I would actually use like my real warm-ups. And we were just, I mean, oh my God, we were cracking up so much. Anyway, it was a blast.
I love that. And I swear I watch these movies and I'm like, you want to steal everything from the set. The clothes are so good, the food looks so good, the decorations look so good. Did you take anything?
Yeah.
What'd you take?
I took a menu.
A Fiore's sign, right?
Yeah, they have like little table cards that say like Christmas at Fiore's or something like that. And I also took a menu, which like looked like a legit menu. And then I had the entire cast sign it, and our DP and our director and our producer and that sort of thing. Did I take anything else? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say anything.
Well, with permission, I did take some costumes, which is sweet. I have a jean jacket, the jean jacket I wear in the opening number, and it's my new favorite jean jacket.
I was gonna take the neon Fiore sign, but I thought that maybe that wouldn't fit in my bag,
The grand piano just in your pocket.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you have like a favorite holiday song that you're like, either one that you loved singing in this or one that you just, love in general that like kicks off the holidays for you guys.
I don't know if I told you this, GC, but the Christmas song is actually my favorite Christmas song.
It's a good one.
The one that we sing at the piano. I love Nat King Cole's rendition of it. It just like that opening da 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 da. It's just really it's so beautiful.
No, it really is a perfect Christmas song. And I think a new favorite Christmas song is going to be the song that was written for this movie. It's called Who Knew? And it was actually, or Who Knew It'd Be This Christmas? And one of my best friends actually wrote it, which is really sweet for me. And I think it's mad catchy. I mean, everybody on set.
It's so catchy.
It's so catchy. I hope it makes it into the Christmas music canon. But then it was really sweet too to get to sing like some gorgeous public domain Christmas songs like "Oh Holy Night" and "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" and "Joy to the World," and classics that people know and love and feel part of so many people's family Christmas traditions.
Well, I want to thank you guys both so much for your time and congratulations. I know people are going to have a lot of fun with this one. I love the New York, the Broadway vibes and bringing it in with the holiday season. It was just so much fun.
Yay! I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Get you in the Christmas spirit.
Consider subscribing if you like this video and get even more entertainment news at popcultureplanet.net. See ya!